Good afternoon, everybody. Today I am going to teach 8th Standard, Second Language, English poem. The name of the poem is No Men Are Foreign. Let us begin the class with the introduction of the poet. The poet of this poem is James Kirkup. He was born on 23rd April 1918 and passed away on May 10th. May 10th, 2009. He was a prolific English poet, translator and a travel writer. Here in the first line you can see the date of birth and the date when he passed away. This person was an excellent English poet. Prolific means excellent English poet. He was also a translator. He translated the poems from one language to the other language, and a travel writer. He wrote over 30 books, including autobiographies, novels, and plays. This person, he wrote 30 books, and those books are including autobiographies. Autobiographies means written by life history of some other person. Novels and plays. He had written novels also and plays. Plays means dramas. He started writing simple verses and rhymes. He also written simple poems and rhymes also he had written from the age of 6. So when he was 6 years old, from that time he started writing verses and rhymes. Marsden Boy, 2008, a poem, and a play, Strindberg, a play, are his contribution. So these two are the names of his dramas. He was honored by many countries. So for his work, he was honored by many other countries. In this poem, the poet gives us a message about universal brotherhood. So the poem, which is there for your course, in this we can find a very important message, and the message is about universal brotherhood. So look here, children. You can see the image of James Kirkup, and he was born in South Shields. Let us begin the poems. New words or difficult words used in this poem. The first one, beneath all uniforms, all are one, though appearances a single body, breeds are different. Peaceful harvest, to live with no hatred. Strength that can be won by love. Only love can win strength. No another form of strength. Our hells of fire and dust. Reference to evil effects of war. Uniforms. Note that the poet has soldiers in his mind. Disposes, to disown. Betray, to be disloyal. Condemn, to express a strong disapproval of some work, arms, firearms. Remember, no men are strange, no countries foreign. Beneath all uniforms, a single body breathes like ours. The land our brothers walk upon is earth like this in which we all shall lie. So this is the beginning stanza of the poem, children. As I am reading the poem, they too aware of sun and air and water are fed by peaceful harvest. By war's long winter starved, their hands are ours. And in their lines we read a labor not different from our own. Remember, they have eyes like ours that wake or sleep and strengthen that can be won by love. In every land is common life that all can recognize and understand. Next stanza. Let us remember whenever we are told to hate our brothers, it is ourselves that we shall dispose, betray, condemn. Remember, we who take arms against each other, it's the human earth that we defile. Our hells or fire and dust outrage the innocence of air that is everywhere our own. Remember, no men are foreign and no countries strange. So the poem is over, children. Let me explain the poem, what the poet says in this poem. The poet reminds us of the many ways in which we are all the same, for we are all human. No men are foreign is a beautiful poem, tells us that all the divisions based on nation, caste, color, creed or religion are baseless, since we all are similar in our basic need of the common resources of our life. So let me introduce the poem to you. The title of the poem, No Men Are Foreign, means that no men belong to another country. The poet wants to say that all men are same, all men are equal. He wants to promote the concept of universal brotherhood. In this poem, the poet wants to tell us that everyone in this world is same. All people, all men are same. They eat, live, die the same way. Everyone gets the bounties of nature like sunshine, land, etc. in equal measure. We can also say that it is a peace poem. So, as with the introduction, I am sure you are understanding about this poem. The title of the poem, No Men Are Foreign, shows that the country belongs to everyone. We cannot measure the people on different bases, that is, on the base of caste, on the base of creed. We cannot measure the persons. Here, this poem makes us to understand the concept of universal brotherhood. means every one of us here are brothers, because the land where we are living, it is providing equal opportunities to all of us. We live together here, we eat the same kind of food, and we die in the same motherland. All of us are getting the bounties of nature. Bounties means riches of the nature, that is sunshine, land, etc. So this poem gives us a lesson of peace. Look here, children, the first stanza of the poem, stanza wise. I'll explain you the first stanza. Remember, no men are strange, no countries foreign. Beneath all uniform, a single body breathes like ours. The land our brothers walk upon is earth like this, in which we all shall lie. See the explanation of this stanza, children. In the first line, the poet says that no men are strange and no country is foreign. So, he is attempting to remove the borders from the earth which have been erected to separate different countries. Then only no country will be foreign. We will feel every country as our own land when there will be no borders. Everyone will be free to move around. The poet wants to say that the entire earth is one, and all the people who live on this earth belong to one human race. Then he says that inside the uniforms owned by soldiers of different countries, the human being is the same. God has made all of us in a similar way. All breathe in the same way. Then he says that all the soldiers are our brothers. We all walk upon the same Mother Earth, and upon our death shall lie in the grave in the same earth. So here, very simple thing is described in the first stanza. He says that no human beings are strange and no country is foreign, because we divide the people on the basis of borders. And he says that no country will be foreign when we feel that we all are same human beings, we all are brothers. Then he gives the example that the earth is same, the earth on which we live, human race is same, the soldiers are same, but the difference is that they are wearing the different uniforms of the different countries. Then he says that we all human beings are one, and God is the creator of all of us. He says that as we breathe the same as we live in the same earth, as the soldiers consider everyone as their brothers, and we all walk on the same mother earth, and after the death we will be buried in the same earth. So this is about the first stanza of the poem. Second stanza. They too, aware of sun and air and water, are fed by peaceful harvest, by war's long winter starved. Their hands are ours, and in their lines we read a labor not different from our own. So, in the second stanza, the poet refers to those people who belong to other countries. We call them foreigners and discriminate them and fight with them also. The poet says that nature has given all the bounties to all people also, just like he has given to us. Everyone gets sunlight, air and water in equal measure, which means that God does not differentiate between people from different countries. We all do farming during the time of peace, when there is no war. We live a relaxed life and eat the things given to us by nature. Further, he adds that the way we starve during wars and winter time is the same for those belonging to other countries. Even they do not get food at that time. So he wants to say that foreigners who belong to other country and we both are same. And then the poet says that even their hands are same as ours. They work very hard just like we do. He is giving all these examples to convey to the reader that there is no difference in us and the people belong to another country. Here, what common things the poet has described? He referred the word that foreigners and natives. We differentiate foreigners by considering that they do not belong to our country and we fight with them. But the poet says that when the nature doesn't discriminate, why should we discriminate? As the nature bounties its gifts to all the people, and the bounties of nature are sunlight, air, water, etc. Here the poet says that as we suffer in the wartime, the people in the different area also suffer, as they will be affected at the time of winter and wars. The other country men also suffer. So he says that why to make differentiation between a native and a foreigner. Then he says that we do the same work what they do. We work hard as they do. Here he says that he gives these examples to convey the readers that we should not differentiate the people of our country and of others. Let us go to the third stanza. Remember, they have eyes like ours that wake or sleep, and strength that can be won by love. In every land is common life that all can recognize and understand. So let me explain you the third stanza of the poem. The poet asks the reader to remember something. He says that we should keep in mind that the people of another country whom we think to be our enemies have been bestowed by God with similar appearances like us. God has given them eyes like ours, which open when awake and close when we are asleep. Similarly, He has given them strength, which we can win through love. Then he says that in every country, in every land, there is one common thing, that is life. Life means all the things that are living, and if we can recognize them and if we can understand their feelings and realize that they are like us, then there will be no fights or wars between us. So here let me explain you in a very simple way what the poet said here. Here the poet is trying to change the mentality of the people about other people. So he says that we should not think the other countrymen as our enemies, because we are blessed by God with the same appearances how we have. Here he gives an example of the eyes which we have, the same eyes they have. And then he says that one can change the people only with the power of love. One country with another country can be friendly only on the basis of love. As how we see the life in our country, we can see the same kind of life in the foreign countries. So here the poet tried his best to make the people understand that they should not fight with others. They should not fight or wars between them. Next stanza. Let us remember, whenever we are told to hate our brothers, it is ourselves that we shall dispose, betray, condemn. Remember, we who take arms against each other dispose, dislodge, deprive. So let me explain the meaning of this stanza? The poet says that we should remember that whenever someone tells us to hate a person from another country, to think him as our enemy, and whenever we think someone to be our enemy, then we deprive ourselves, we cheat ourselves, and we condemn ourselves. He says that we should stay away from such negativity. We should not consider anyone to be our enemy. During a war, both the parties must bear the loss, and that is why the poet says that war is not in our favor. He says that whenever we pick any weapon against someone, we should remember one thing. So let me continue the fifth stanza of the poem, children. It is the human earth that we defy. Our hells of fire and dust outrage the innocence of air that is everywhere our own. Remember, no men are foreign and no countries strange. Defile, make dirty, pollute, outrage the innocence of, violate the purity of. Here in the fifth stanza, the poet says that we should keep in mind that whenever we pick weapons against any person, we make the earth dirty, because weapons kill people and their bodies which fall on the earth make it dirty. Whenever war happens, it leads a lot of bloodshed, fire and death. These dead bodies accumulate on the earth and it make it impure. The fire of war which erupts, the smoke which comes out, the dust which fills the air, it is so dirty that it pollutes and outrages the purity of the air. With all these things, the poet wants to give us a message that we should not indulge in war. Finally, he ends the poem by writing the first line in reverse and saying that, remember, no men are foreign and no country is strange. So here, in the fifth stanza, the poet described a very great thing. So here he says that before we pick up weapons against any person, we should think that by using those weapons, we are polluting our Mother Earth. Because as we use the weapons, we kill number of people and number of dead bodies fell on this earth. And whenever we use the weapons, it leads to lot of bloodshed, fire and death. So when those dead bodies fell on the earth, they make the surroundings impure. As the fire of war erupts, the smoke which comes out, the dust which fills the air, these all things, they will impurify the air. So here the poet through this stanza wants to give us a message that one should not indulge in war, as one should remember that no men are foreign and no countries strange. So here in this poem, the literary devices used are rhyme scheme. So the entire poem is written in free verse. There is no rhyme scheme in the poem. The other literary devices used here are alliteration and metaphor. So these two are the figures of speech. So what is alliteration? Let you remind once again, the repetition of a consonant sound in two or more closely placed word is called alliteration. The instances of alliteration in the poem are in the stanza 1, body, breathes, B sound here, body, B sound, breathes, B sound is repeated. In stanza 2, wars, winter. So W is repeated here. So next figures of speech used here is metaphor. In stanza 1, uniforms refer to the military of different countries. Then stanza 2, war's time is compared to the winter season. Then repetition is the repetition of the words. It is used in the entire poem. Remember, word is repeated 5 times in the poem. Then remember, no men are strange, no countries foreign. This line is repeated in stanza 1 and even in stanza 5.